So today on Project X, I will be talking about this 1994 Dodge Viper RT10. Today I have this Dodge Viper that I bought as a salvage from an auction. I'm in the process of rebuilding. Going back to the background of Dodge Viper, this is a Chrysler V10. The engine is an 8-liter, 400 horsepower, 465 foot-pound of torque engine. People usually mistake this engine as a truck engine. It never was a truck engine. It is maybe based on a truck engine. However, because Chrysler owned Lamborghini at the time, Lamborghini had a lot of involvement in the development of the V10 that came in the Viper. So when you're looking into a Dodge Viper, it is inspired by the Cobra, the original Shelby Cobras, the AC Cobras, so to speak. A very big engine in front, no driver aids, and lots of torque and horsepower. That is what the first generation Viper was inspired to become, a monster. These are very fast cars. However, very difficult to drive in any condition, whether wet or dry. It is very difficult to find out the limits of Dodge, especially first generation Dodge Vipers, because these Vipers were created as driver cars. They did not come with creature comfort. The only creature comforts you had was an optional air conditioner. It did not even have a door handle. To open the car, you had to reach inside and open the door handle. This car had no ABS. It had no air conditioning, which was only available in the later model. It had no airbags, no ABS, which also became available only in the later model. It had no roof and even had no windows. The first gen RT10 had no window. It had options where you would get these weird looking windows, which you'd open a zipper and reach inside to open the door, and had what you called a toupee top, which was this little canvas which was put on the roof. This car was meant to be an open top roadster because even the canvas always had a tendency to fly away under high speed. These are very fast cars with torque gearing. You could probably reach 60 in just the first gear. That's how fast these cars. It's very rare to actually see a car that has more torque than horsepower. I know people have driven a lot of cars, but the sensation you feel in a Dodge Viper accelerating, very few cars able to duplicate this. It's like you've been launched from a cannon. These cars are so full of torque, you have to try one. I don't care if your car is a turbo car or whatever it is, supercharged. At only 400 horsepower, 460 foot-pounds of torque, it's ridiculous. It's crazy the way these cars accelerate. Looking into this RT10 which came as a salvage, only has about 10,000 miles, which is why I thought it might be a worthy investment. Actually rebuild and see what happens. So, going back to the history of this car. This car was actually inspired by Shelby's AC Cobra, 427 Cobra or AC Cobra. So what we have here is a light car with a humongous engine. Dodge Viper first generation came out with an 8-liter, 400 horsepower, 465 cubic inch engine. Well, a lot of people actually think this was actually a Dodge truck engine. Chrysler Motors owned Lamborghini, so they sent their V10 block to Lamborghini, who engineered the engine for the Dodge Viper. So this engine, all this mated to a 6-speed transmission. The engine alone weighs 700 pounds and peaks horsepower at 3,600 revs per minute. Fuel economy for these cars were rated for 20 miles to the gallon in the country or the highway, and a pathetic 12 miles to the gallon in the city. I believe it's actually worse than that, but initially when they came out, that was the fuel rating. And this car can actually accelerate to 60 in 4.2 seconds. And in about 9 seconds, you'll be hitting 100 miles an hour. That's like 160 kilometers an hour in 9 seconds. Quarter miles, when they were tested, were in the mid-12s. 12.6, 12.3. I believe some cars actually ran high 11s. But because these are handmade cars, usually every engine is different. You never know what you get, right? And because the tires are so wide, this car was able to corner at nearly one lateral G. Bang for buck, this was one of the killer deals at the time, and is a killer deal now even. Well, looking into first generation Vipers, one thing one has to note is, and were actually designed as race cars because they were actually designed to be very light and fast. They actually have a tubular chassis. What you have is the same. What you have is a formula just like the AC Cobras, right? So you have a big engine, tubular frame, rear wheel drive, and manual transmission. Dodge Vipers never came in automatic. All of them are manual. And what you also have to note about first generation Vipers is they had no driver aids. These cars are to be treated utmost respect because these cars will bruise your ego. These Dodge Vipers will bruise your ego because only trained race drivers are able to reach the limit of the Gen 1 Vipers. They are so I'd have to get the frame straightened out and yeah, just get it going. Have a new interior for it, so that'll have to be changed out. Otherwise, not too much damage. New tires, paintwork will need to be resprayed. New tires and brakes, brake pads. At this point, I don't really know what I really want to do with it. Since it only has 10,000 miles, I was actually thinking of just restoring it to stock. You know, yeah, restoring it to stock. Since most of the original things are actually here, it even has the original Chrysler radio. Yeah, so interior, most of the stuff is actually still pretty good, but yeah, we'll try and restore it to original Viper. Although I'm sure most of the value would have gone because it's a salvage title, but it's a car I intend on keeping, so it doesn't really matter really. These are very interesting cars. Getting fewer and fewer. So most of these parts I have in storage. The aluminum exhausts, the headlights, the bumpers, I just put them in storage so I can get the car going. Once the frame is straightened out and the engine is running, then we'll get back to that. Very basic but very brutal, savage cars. Well, I guess everything is at a standstill right now, so we'll see what I can do to get this project running. I was hoping it would be ready in summer, but it looks like everything is delayed. The funds are delayed, the shops are closed, so we'll just have to see how far we can do this and what I can do in the meantime to get this car going.